So here we are, game number 3 of this best of 3, and things are going to be getting pretty tense. The winner of this game advances into the decider game, the loser eliminated from Group A. Ooh. So, spawning down in the lower right hand position, we have got the red Zerg player, representing alternate attack, none other than Lambo. And his opponent to the top left, representing XMG, it's Socke. So things nicely tied here, 1-1. We've got the first ace game of the evening. Well, that makes me a very, very happy caster. The reason I like the fact that we go into the ace game is because it means that a lot of pressure comes down for the players. We get to go and see what they're going to be attempting to do, what they're going to be trying to... keeping things looking exciting. It also means that these two have to be very careful with what they do here. We saw obviously a 9 pull come down first, and a 9 pull in an ace game is always going to be very risky. Lambo is just going to be going quite standard 14 pull. This is something that Dignitas's Tefl does all the time. So it's a nice build. Definitely works well for Tefl. Keeps him very safe and secure against potential aggression. Socke is almost definitely going to be going for a Nexus first opening. Pulling that probe now, we can see the mineral is already banked up. That's what gives it away. That, and of course the fact that there is no gateway being produced as well. Still, keeping a look on this. Another Nexus on its way out. We've got probes just checking about, just keeping a good look. Down goes the natural. Pull into a hatch, all safe. Nothing that Socke is going to be too freaked out about. It's always good not getting freaked out by things. Seeing them and just being like, ah, okay, I was expecting that. Nothing too out of the ordinary. That's where you want to be. That's how you want to be feeling. It's always good. This is why practice makes you a lot more confident. Like, it's one thing that I always really notice, because I'm very, very busy with casting and obviously kayaking for Team GP. I don't have much free time to play. And so with that, I often find that when I do play, I'm mechanically still pretty solid, but I'm not expecting things. I'm not completely up to date, or it's not so much I don't know what to expect, because obviously I cast a lot, so I see tons of games, but it's when I'm actually in that situation, I'm like, I scout something, and I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting this to be here yet, because your sense of time is completely thrown out when you're actually playing, as opposed to casting. So when that happens, you're just like, and you sometimes get a little bit stressed, whereas these two, very good, very aware of what they're going to be up to, and so when they see things, they're like, oh, okay, this is what we're going to be doing, and this is what we're dealing with. Do have a good few lings here. Currently sitting with 6 on the field. There's very little to defend with. The Zealot is on its way out. No Mothership core, because of course the Cybernetics core isn't finished yet. So Lambo could actually get a fair bit of damage done. In total, he does only have the 6 Zerglings. So up against the Zealot, if they get a good engagement, they'll do fine. But with probes help out, probably won't do that well. Still, there are the 6 lings here. They're a little bit scary. 2 already getting taken out though. That's quite unfortunate for the Zerglings. A couple more, or 1 more still around there. Zealot going to just go on a nice little game of chase the Zerglings. He'll never catch them, and I feel really bad for the poor Zealot there. Never ever going to be able to close down the distance. Still, nice little bit of checking around. We've got the Zealot still chasing nicely. Lambo on the other hand, he's trying to find any damage he can. Any lone probe that might be able to get killed would be just ideal for him. So far he hasn't killed a single probe with this. Always frustrating. He has been able to secure up a 3rd base though. It's about 3/4 done at the moment. Not opting for any gas, so this is completely gasless, very normal things to be seeing, especially up against the Nexus first. That's really very, very safe stuff. Otherwise, this is a normal game. This is kind of transitioning from a little bit of aggression early on from Lambo, but for the most part, this is a standard Zerg versus Protoss. A few more lings are going to be able to sneak through. This is actually really quite nice. They're just checking for any scouting information they could possibly find. I don't believe that they... Oh, actually, they didn't see the Forge with the Overlord can, so knows this is going to be an upgrade focus build from Socke. Meanwhile, Lambo, just checking for anything else that he can see. Socke is not as aware in terms of the vision. He knows that a 3rd was being produced. Had finished, obviously, because of the creep spread being there, but doesn't know about the gas timings, doesn't know about if there's a layer, if there's a Rotron or anything like that. Hasn't really scouted in for a long time. So just kind of assuming from this 3rd base timing, from seeing the lings early on, that nothing crazy is happening as of yet. And that, of course, is good news. A couple of additional gates here. Got the Forge, busy producing +1. So very normal stuff. An early third base actually coming down here. This is just past the 7-minute mark, so a very early third as a whole. But early thirds, that's fine. Do you know what? I quite like an early third base because in this sort of situation, when your opponent did go for a bit of aggression early on, it's unlikely they're going to be able to follow it up with too much too soon. So this third should be able to be completely secure unless Lambo is going very, very greedy or very, very aggressive. His lair just starting up now. Of course, with the +1 coming through as well, long term, Socke is actually in a really nice spot. Adding in a few more gates, this is just to create this wall to the side to make sure this third is just a little bit more resilient to any attacks that could be coming through. Lambo though, Rocheron also on its way out. He's looking for the +1 carapace. So the carapace is actually quite a big tell that he's looking for most likely probably some Roach Ling style play. Rather than getting the plus attack, which you might see if he was going for Roach Hydra, for example. Could also be looking to go into Swarm Host. That'd be another build where getting the +1 carapace is really quite nice. And the reason that's really solid is because it means the Locusts are a bit more tanky. They can take more damage, and that's always going to be super helpful. For the moment though, Socke pushing forward across the map, adding in a couple of proxy pylons as he goes, avoiding the detection from this right-hand watchtower that is held by Lambo. Lambo actually doing a good job of holding that right watchtower. Socke though got the left-hand one. Important he's got this just from the positioning that he wants to put down the pylons, wanting to make sure that he sees everything as it goes. Quantum boosting down those zealots. Couple of force fields gonna be on their way. The Zergling is taking a lot of damage, and as this continues on through, Lambo gonna have to be producing significant amounts of defense. Adding in smallings, adding a lot of spines. He's aware that this is a dangerous spot. The gateway count is only at 7 gates, but this isn't an all-in because, of course, the third base is still there. And off of 3 bases, this is easy to support 7 gates worth of production. Drones getting pulled. Lambo realizing he's been a bit caught off guard here. A nice amount of damage being done. The Stalkers pulling back. The Sentries able to stay alive. Getting some great force fields there. Trapping a good chunk of roaches and also those drones. Socke moving forward. He's trying to take out these spines before they're able to finish up. One will finish, but that's just a volley or two from the Stalkers to take that down. Sentry did die, but unfortunately the roaches all getting zoned out thanks to these force fields. The third is going to take some damage. The Mothership Core is in position, ready to recall if required. Socke though, wouldn't be surprised to see him just continue on in. He's in a very, very good spot. He may try and just end this game outright. May say, hey, I'm 3 bases to 2 right now. I don't need to do anything crazy. Force fields are still good. A Time Warp going to slow down the retreat of some of these units. More force fields coming out, allowing the roaches to just get dismantled on the retreat, preventing them from getting away from the slow advance of Socke. Socke warping in more units, 9 more roaches in production for Lambo, but Lambo's supply tumbling. He's at 40 army supply to 60. And that number is ever going further in the favor of Socke. He's melting through this army. The third base down. Lambo's in an incredibly rough spot. And Socke, he's just got such an overwhelming amount of forces here. It is just over. Socke is going to take this series 2-1. And unfortunately for Lambo, he's eliminated from Group A at the bottom of the group. Of course, that means very, very good news for Socke, who will go on to face the loser of Patience versus Showtime. Congratulations there to Socke.